How's everybody out there in YouTube land? I hope this finds you well. Time for another exciting episode of Heifer Haven's Free Advice. We got our heifer here with us. Look, she's all polka dotted over there and they're black and white. She got her face plastered up against the glass and her horns all polished. And she says, what are we going to talk about today, BrendaG? What are we going to talk about today? Well, I'm about to tell you. Before I do, though, there's one thing we've always got to do, and that's more cowbell. Now that we got your attention, let's see what the letter has to say today. Dear Heifer Haven, do you remember your grandparents and what were they like? Well, I didn't know the ones on my mother's side of the family. They'd done passed, but I remember my grandparents on my daddy's side of the family very well. My grandpa, I was the apple of his eye. He passed away when I was 6 years old, but Lord have mercy, me and Grandpa was pretty much inseparable. He drove a Studebaker car, and on Saturdays we'd go to the store, and I can remember riding in the back of that Studebaker car on the way to the grocery store, and he'd always get me a little piece of candy when we was at the store. And on Saturday afternoons, me and Grandpa would watch the wrestling shows on the TV, big time wrestling they called it, and I'd sit in his lap, and he chawed tobacco. And he put a little bit of tobacco in his jaw, and I'd want some too. So he'd give me just a little piece of it, and I'd have to spit there in a spit can. He had a lard can beside his chair. And my granny just have a fit. Don't you give her none of that chewing tobacco. Red man chewing tobacco is what he had. And then he passed away when I was 6 years old, but I remember my granny extremely, extremely well. She didn't pass until... oh my goodness, I think I was around maybe 21 when she passed away, and she taught me, just tons and tons of things. She come up during the Depression years, and so I know a lot of her Depression skills and stuff. She taught me how to knit, and she taught me how to sew, and she taught me a lot about cooking, and she taught me about gardening. So yeah, I wouldn't give up the time that I spent with my granny for anything. We spent weekends together. We lived right down the road from each other. And so on Friday night, I'd go to her house and then run home on Saturday to take care of my chores and come back down to her house, spend Saturday afternoon and Saturday night there and run back home, take care of my chores, and then come back on Sunday afternoon and go back home before dark so I could get ready for school the next day. But did that week after week when I was growing up, spending time with Granny. And if you don't know who your grandparents are and you ain't spent no time with your grandparents, go find you a grandparent someplace. Go find you an older person, because I'll guarantee they're probably lonely. There's a lot of lonely older people out there that would love to have some companionship, and they'd love to teach you the skills and things that they know. The information that they can share with you will be invaluable in the coming days ahead. Trust me on that one. And that's the best advice that I know to give you as far as your older people are concerned. Hey, I said it was free advice. I never said it'd be good.